Hello everyone, welcome to Payment Tech Video. In this video, we are going to talk about Class B Default Subnet Mask. Let's say they give us the IP address of 172.16.1.25. And they give us the CIDR notation of 16 or the subnet mask of 255.255.0.0. Okay, so looking at the IP address 172, this is the first octet. 172 belongs to Class B. Class B default subnet mask 255.255.0.0, or the CIDR notation of /16. 16 bits, it's a network bits. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or basically subnet mask. This is the decimal value. If we convert the decimal to the binary, 255 means 8 ones on the first octet. This 255, 8 ones on the second octet, 0 on the third octet, 0, pretty much we have 8 zeros. And then here on the fourth octet, 0, so we have again 8 zeros. Okay, so this is an example of default subnet mask using Class B IP address. And so they gave us the IP address, default subnet mask. Now after going through basically all the bits, here we can see where is the cut line. And our cut line is here. These are the network bits and these are the host bits. So we have 16 network bits and 16 host bits. Now looking at the last bit that is turned on, here the decimal value for the last bit, it's 1. So this is our network increment by 1 on second octet. So if we want to write down the network address, 172.16.0.0. So basically 255.255.0.0, that's the network address would be 172.16.0.0. So let's write down our network address. So we have 172.16.0.0. This is our network address. And let's see if I want to write the broadcast address. Always it's better to have the next network. Then one less IP address would be the broadcast address. Okay, so what is the next network? How can we find out? You see here earlier we talked about the last bit turned on. This is our network increment on a second, so it's by 1. Therefore, it is 172.17.0.0. Why? Because on the second octet incrementing by 1. Second octet, so if we had .16, now it's .17, and so on. What would be the next network? The next network would be 172.18.0.0, and so on. So, well, the broadcast for the first network, 172.16.0.0, the broadcast is always 1 less than next network. So next network 172.17.0.0. So would be 172.16.255.255. Okay, so let me explain what happened here. So this IP address, which is the broadcast address, if we add one IP address to this, so it would be 172.16.255.256, which again, we don't have 256 in octet, correct? So this is not correct. And therefore what happens, it basically turns to 0 and adds to this octet to the left. Then it would be this one would be basically it would be 172.16.256.0, which again we don't have 256. So here also would be 0. So it would be 0, and it will add to basically to the left here by 1. So that's why we see 172.17.0.0, which is this one here. So when we have 172.16.255.255, when we add one IP address, it will be this. 172.17.0.0. Therefore, when we want to find the broadcast address, it's always the easiest way to simply find the next network. How can we find the next network? By the increment. How did I get the increment? By using the subnet mask. So the subnet mask, we did find the cut line. 255.255 means 8 ones here, 8 ones here, and then 8 zeros, 8 zeros. So between ones and zeros, draw a cut line. And these are the network bits, these are the host bits. So the last bit turned on, that's our increment, network increment. And we have to pay attention what octet is our increment. This one, it's on the second octet. So this is the first octet, that's the second octet, the third octet, the fourth octet. So this is on the second octet. So we are incrementing by 1 on a second. So here the second octet, if this is first, second, third, and fourth. So the second octet, 16, incrementing by 1, 17. So we know that's our next network, correct? So now we can come back here and say, how can we find the broadcast address? Broadcast address is always one less IP address than the next network. If the next network is 172.17.0.0, the broadcast would be 172.16.255.255. And now let's go over the range. Okay, so 172.16.0.0. The first usable IP address would be 172.16.0.1. That's the first usable IP address. And it goes to 172.16.255.254. That's the range. So if we add one IP address, will be 172.16.255.255 here. So always the last available IP address is 1 less than the broadcast. And the first available IP address is just 1 after the network, adding 1 IP address to the network address. So 172.16.0.0, adding 1 IP address would be 172.16.0.1. It goes to 172.16.255.254. Now again, the same formula we talked about earlier to find out the number of hosts or available IP addresses. So we have 2 to the power of host bits minus 2. In this case, we have 2 to the power of how many host bits do we have? Zeros represents the host bits. 16, correct? Minus 2. Why minus 2? Because of the network address and the broadcast address. We cannot assign the network address and the broadcast address to the computers on the network. So these are the usable IP addresses here in this range. These are the available IP addresses. So to find the host number, we have to do the minus 2. 2 to the power of host bits minus 2. 2 to the power of 16, 16 host bits. How do we know 16 host bits? Again, because of the subnet mask, 255.255.0.0. Why the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0? Because our IP address is class C. How do we know it's class C? Looking at the first octet, 172, that's class C. So earlier in previous videos, we talked about how we can find out looking at the IP address if that's class A, B, or C. And please watch those videos if you haven't watched those. So yeah, this is class B because 172 falls into class B IP address. And class B IP address, default subnet mask is 255.255.0.0, and means that we have 16 ones and 16 zeros. This is our cut line. So 2 to the power of 16, these are the host bits. Zeros, host bits, ones, network bits. Okay, so 2 to the power of 16 minus 2 equals, first let's take a look, 2 to the power of 16, it is 65,536 minus 2, it is 65,534. So that's how many available IP addresses in class B default subnet mask. So this is class B, that's the available IP addresses. This range should be 65,534 available IP addresses in class B. Now this IP address that they gave us, 172.16.1.25, it basically falls into this range, the 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.255.255. it's in here. So the network address would be 172.16.0.0 for this IP address. So this was one example of using Class B default subnet mask. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we are going to talk about Class A default subnet mask. If this video was helpful, please hit the thumbs up. To see more tech videos like this, please subscribe to our channel. Thanks again and have a good day.